Also, another player, Bert, with some trade rumors circulating around him, offensive lineman Isaiah Wynn. You wrote about this earlier today. What are the details about that possibility and why the Patriots want to move on?
Well, my understanding is the Patriots have brought his name up to other teams and not the other way around. I think it's going to be tough to find somebody who's willing to take a lump sum, $10.4 million. There aren't a lot of teams that have that much room to play with right now. And then, what sort of capital are you giving up for a guy who you don't have signed past this year? So I think if they were going to get rid of Isaiah Wynn, it would be pretty much a straight salary dump that would give them, again, that sort of space that they usually want to have to churn their roster in season. Normally they like to have about $10 million to play with, and this would do that for them. And I think we can just kind of look the way this has gone, over the last few months. They declined his fifth-year option, or they picked up his fifth-year option, but they didn't extend him. They move him from left tackle to right tackle. It sort of seems like, guys, he's slowly being moved off the roster. And if, they feel comfortable that Yodny Kajus could give them similar production at right tackle and maybe be a little bit more durable, I can certainly see where this would be an easy solution for their cap problem.
Phil, how did we get here with this Isaiah Wynn situation? We know last season didn't perform too well, a lot of question marks surrounding him, but how did we get to this point where we are today?
Yeah, I was stunned when they picked up his fifth-year option for $10 million because he just has not been all that dependable. And a lot of that is outside of his control when it comes to his injury history. But if you end up moving on from Isaiah Wynn for financial reasons because you're tied up against the cap, I think you'd have to be so disappointed by that if you're the Patriots for a variety of different reasons. Obviously, you drafted him in the first round to be a cornerstone player for you at a cornerstone position coming from a blue blood program that you have a ton of respect for. You think he's going to be a leader for your team moving forward. But I look at this too, big picture, and I say, well, if you go into 2022 and you do end up moving Isaiah Wynn, now you've moved on from 3/5 of your starting offensive line that helped your rookie quarterback last year have a pretty damn good first NFL season. And for financial reasons, and almost purely for financial reasons, you have then moved on from Isaiah Wynn, a starting tackle, and Ted Karras, a starting guard, and Shaq Mason, another starting guard. And you've gotten basically nothing in return. You're getting a fifth-round pick for Shaq Mason, and the Isaiah Wynn return, Tom, I would think would be something similar because of the reasons Bert mentioned. That to me is a mismanaged offensive line group.
It's a mismanaged, and the proof is in the pudding when we watch these preseason games and these practices and see jailbreaks going on in front of Mac Jones, and he aborted plays that they can't complete. And Mac Jones actually alluding to the fact that, hey, it looked a little bit better this week because I was able to step up in the pocket, which is basically saying they weren't protecting me before. He doesn't understand that yet, but we can read between the lines. I guess what it also amplifies, too, is between Sony Michel, terrific playoff run in 2018, can't take that away from him, Isaiah Wynn, N'Keal Harry, Duke Dawson, if you want to roll it back, Jawan Williams, all of these misses in the first and second rounds. Thank God they've gotten hot, apparently, in 20 and 21, because you just can't continue swinging and missing at the top of the draft every single April like they did. And Isaiah Wynn seems like a candidate for being.
And one thing I'd add is that's part of the reason there is the cap problem. A lot of people look at this and say, well, they don't have that many big numbers at the top of their salary cap table. Well, look down a little bit. When you miss on second and third and fourth round picks and even first round picks habitually, what do you need to do? You need to pay maybe $3, $4, $5 million to replace these guys. What do you do when you miss on N'Keal Harry? You give Nelson Aguilar $11 million a year. You give Kendrick Bourne $5 million a year. Those misses and having to replace those guys on the roster, it all winds up adding up, which is why they're in the cap situation they're in right now.